Prayer for me is talking to my mother after a year and a half, who would never speak to me and hung up on me. My Sabbath school and myself have been praying for over a year now, and my mother has reached out to me and we have had conversations, and it's been very wonderful and very fulfilling. It gives me great hope to know that Jesus has answered my prayer in that respect.
He was not allowed to swim. Mom had made it very clear. However, when he got home, his hair and his swimming trunks were wet. Mom scolded him. "Fernando, didn't I tell you you couldn't go swimming today?" "But Mom, I couldn't help myself." He tried to justify it by saying, "The water was so inviting." "But tell me one thing, Fernando. How is it that your swimming trunks were with you if you were told that swimming was forbidden?" "Oh, Mom, I took it just in case I was tempted." There's a popular saying that says, opportunity knocks on the door once, and the temptation knocks at the door constantly. For this reason, in the prayer model, Christ teaches us the prayer of protection and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. After asking for forgiveness for the past sins, Christ, in the Lord's Prayer, shows us to seek strength for future sins. When we pray the prayer of protection, we recognize the danger of temptation, our limitations in dealing with it, and we beg for freedom from it. The essence of this prayer is seeking protection in the midst of spiritual war that we are a part of, where two enemies must be defeated. The first enemy to be conquered is you. In James chapter 1, we see the details, explanation, and the final result of the temptation process. The first basis is that temptation doesn't come from God. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. After such declaration, James declares the root of temptation. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away from his own lusts and enticed. The contemporary English version says, we are tempted by our own desires that drag us off and trap us. These same uncontrollable impulses are mentioned by John the Apostle. Our foolish pride comes from the world, and so do our selfish desires, and our desire to have everything we see. None of this comes from the Father. These selfish desires are the reason for temptation and consequently sin. The first enemy to be conquered is inside you, in our inclinations, tendencies, impulses, and desires. Don't think that you are in a losing battle. For Paul the Apostle writes, you are tempted in the same way that everyone else is tempted, but God can be trusted not to let you be tempted too much, and he will show you how to escape your temptations. The second enemy to be conquered is evil. While the first part asks us to be kept away from temptation, the second part, deliver us from evil, is a request to be freed from the worst that could happen. If we fall into temptation, the prayer asks that we be freed from the grips of evil and free from the dominion of evil through the grace of Jesus Christ. And so these requests aren't only limited to freeing us from sin, but also liberating us from the clutches of Satan. For these two enemies, God gives us an antidote, a weapon that can be used, prayer. Prayer strengthens us against temptation. Prayer frees us from the depths of sin. Prayer forgives us, cleanses us, and lifts us up. Don't do anything else today before praying the prayer of protection. Seek God in this moment through prayer. Ask for strength and freedom, but as you pray this prayer, remember, prayer is the key in the hands of faith to unlock heaven's storehouse, where are treasured the boundless resources of omnipotence.